Hello and welcome to another episode of Toonkind at 12 FPS. This is Enter Stage Left. I am Oatmeal and I will be playing a new character named Twire. And with me is a wonderful friend who helped me make the character, by the way.
What Oatmeal is being very kind and not saying is that she is indulging me by a lot. Anyway, hi, I'm Gail. I'm also here. I'm going to be playing a couple different characters this FPS, uh, and I'm excited to do so.
Yee.
Woo!
Yay.
And once
So,
again, big thank you to Oatmeal for indulging my nonsense.
of course, we had to, no spoilers, but your boy needed something. Um, all right, so Twire, there is a rather tall and broad Hausen heading through um, Villestown. Pretty early in the morning. I'd say the sun is risen. It's after 6, but probably before 8.
Mhm.
So it's a city. There are people around, but not
It's the morning rush, not necessarily the midday hustle and bustle.
absolutely. Anyone with sense is still in bed.
Anyone with sense and not an office job is in bed.
True that. Um, so he's heading over to a theater in Villestown. Um, and let's see if I can describe him as he just a little bit as he goes up to the door to knock. Twire is, as I said, a tall and broad Hausen figure, sort of uh, modeled after a human sort of shape. Um, he's got sort of auburn hair in the kind of sort of sort of in like the slightly sort of waxy looking strands that stop motion tends to have. Um, he's wearing a um, he's uh, brain. He's got uh, a what is it? What did we say it was? Poet shirt with like puffy sleeves and an open neck. Um, he has a big red coat, um, which has a curious sort of metal pin affixed to it in a um, funny looking sort of symbol that might look vaguely like a what's the music it's not the
Oh, it does look like a music note, doesn't it?
or like not like the note but like specifically like the uh,
Like a treble clef?
that's the one, yes.
It
Like
kind of does, doesn't it?
just a little, just like if you don't look at it too hard.
Yeah. Also kind of looks like a the tip of a pen.
Yes, absolutely. um yeah, kind of funky little design. And
Mhm.
he also is wearing a veil over the bottom half of his face.
Mhm. Why don't you tell us a bit about like where his head's at?
Hmm. Well,
How's he feeling? What's he thinking as he, probably took a late night train to get here in the early morning?
mm-hmm. Well, school's been going, and honestly, his classes are probably going pretty decent, pretty okay. It's more on the sort of personal creative end that he's gotten a little frustrated. um
Mhm.
especially because his personal project you know, is so large in his mind that, like, it can be a little, uh, it can be a little annoying when you're, you know, you have to spend hours doing, some assignment on something that's like you could be spending a lot of time on your personal project. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Like you've got this thing that's so big in your head, but they want you to be focusing on a blade of grass.
right? Yeah. So he's kind of in. He's not like, I wouldn't say like writer's block exactly, or like artist block, but like he's got some sort of frustration, some sort of snags in his process. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's either probably like a fall break um, that he's on, and he's going to spend his fall break with a family member over here in Villestown. So
Mm-hmm.
he's
Mm-hmm.
looking forward to seeing her.
Yeah. Speaking of which, can you roll me a perception?
Certainly. Okay, that is. All right, your mod is a. Oh, not bad. Total of 14.
14. Okay, that's enough that, like, you hear the footsteps coming up from behind you, very familiar, sort of heeled boots clicking on pavement.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then there's, slightly dramatic gasp because look at this family. Of course it's slightly dramatic. And
Mm-hmm.
just, oh my gosh, Twire darling, is that you?
Oh. What was her name? Aunt Miriam.
Her name, yeah, Miriam.
Aunt Miriam, I'm
Yeah.
so glad to see you.
Oh my goodness, look at you. You are so much taller than last time I saw you. She like hops up the steps to the theater. She barely comes up to his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Very like friendly, older, kind of Burton-esque woman
Mm-hmm.
who like, does the auntie thing of just like grabbing you, looking you over, just, oh my goodness, look how much you've changed since I last saw you. Uh, for somebody who dresses in, all black business attire,
Mm-hmm.
she's very charming, very optimistic, very friendly.
Yeah.
And she's, a little energetic, and she's just, oh my goodness, it's been so long. How have you been, dear?
It has been a while. Been good. School's been going well. And the family's doing all right.
Oh yes, how's Mary?
Mary is Mary's doing fantastic. The her uh her dog, that little white terrier, just had puppies.
Oh, that's absolutely darling. I'm sure she's absolutely delighted.
Oh yes.
Oh, we shouldn't stand outside for so long, though. People are going to start. Well, let's just say the police around here can be a little overenthusiastic, but, well, with the
Hmm.
city's penchant for murder, I can't really blame them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we get for having so many in the detective genre.
Is that right?
Come on in, come on in.
Of
She,
course.
like, flicks her wrist, pulls out a set of keys that kind of, like, swirl around her fingers with a
Mm-hmm.
jingling sound before she unlocks the door and heads in and just, how have you been liking Inkwell, dear? I know it's a bit of a hop skip over from your usual neck of the woods.
True, true. It is quite different from theater. But it's very interesting. I feel like I sort of understand better mother's quirks, and I suppose some of my own. Um, Having been around, mostly Toon students, um, at an Angwellian school.
It does tend to get a bit more hectic, doesn't it?
Yeah, a bit. That's understating it. But it's
She seems
it's
she
fun.
seems very amused by that as she walks over to the ticket counter, unlocks a couple things to like check at the inside and
Mhm.
whatnot and what have you. And she kind of looks up and says, "I'm surprised you're not going back over to. I'm surprised you're not heading back home for the autumn holidays. Something keeping you here?"
Um, hmm. I suppose, well, it is a long way back, but also, I've just been kind of wanting to work on, um, my personal project, and it doesn't, I don't know. I think it's a little easier to work on here than at home, especially now that it's sort of filling out.
Oh, that's right. You used to talk about that one a lot when you were younger. I haven't heard about it in a while. Same story or something different?
uh, Roughly the same, yes. Although it's, well, gotten more complex, gotten more detailed.
Don't they always?
Of course.
Nothing ever looks nothing ever looks the same once you get a little bit behind the curtain.
Hmm.
And she finishes checking on whatever it was she was looking at behind the counter, hops back over, which she is very much attuned.
Hmm.
She does very much do the like, no, I'm not going to walk around the counter like a normal person. I can just hop.
Yes, of course.
Um, and she kind of walks back over to him, pats him on the shoulder, and just, well, you are always welcome here for as long as you'd like to stay, dear.
Thank you. That's really nice. This is. I can't. It's hard to imagine staying anywhere else, honestly. And he sort of like looks up and around at the theater.
Yeah, right now y'all are in the lobby, and it's modest, but it is well decorated in the
Hmm.
sense of this building is very much like the tall and narrow sort of building,
Hmm.
where it's long, but it is not wide. And this place, the lobby is just kind of the front slice of it.
Hmm.
It's a very small area, but it's
Yeah.
got a lot of very, like, not fancy, but detailed little carvings set into like the pillars holding up the ceiling and the molding along the floorboards and the top of the walls.
Yeah. The sort of old, like scrolled and slightly maximalist style that was what people considered fancy. Um, you know, However many years ago this was built, probably quite a few.
Yes, it's a very old building. This is, of course, the Merriment Magee Memorial Theatre, so named after your grandmother, who
Hmm.
would have been absolutely appalled to have had a theater named after her, which
Huh?
is, of course, exactly why your aunt picked the name.
Oh, incredible! Oh,
Um, Whether or not your grandmother still haunts these halls, who's to say?
who's to say? Maybe we'll see her later.
Ah. um, but yeah, Miriam kind of sets her hands on her hips and thinks for a minute and says, "Well, this is just the lobby. If you'd like, I can show you the auditorium. It's no, not to toot my own horn, but I've kept it pretty well upheld over the last couple of years, but we've gotten a real hand in fixing it up even more lately.
Really? Well, that's lovely to hear. Of course I'd love to see it.
All right, come along. And she kind of leads around sort of a side area where you know how theaters will have, you know, the two doors on either side that lead in.
Mm-hmm.
This one has got those.
Mm-hmm.
They're just kind of to either side of the ticket counter.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and, you know, of course, there is the classic, you know, dramatic sweep open of the door and gesturing of after you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he'll go on in and take a look around.
Yeah, and she wasn't lying. It is a relatively, you know, it's on the smaller side for a theater, but it does kind of remind you a bit of home in a way because, you know, in theater you've got the, you know, various local theaters which work more as local meeting places
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, social centers than they do as big, important audience halls.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this is very much along those lines. It carries a lot of that same, like, scroll work and, you know, floral and celestial designs from outside.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's a little dark, because the house lights aren't all on. There's just the lights kind of illuminating the way down the different halls so that nobody trips and falls on anything.
Yep, the ghost light.
Hmm hmm and there are a couple lights on over the stage. Uh, and roll me perception again,
Certainly.
because that's what I can give you just passively.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this is 12.
12. Okay. Um, hmm. Um,
I think that's less than my passive. Yeah, it is.
yeah, it is. Yeah, so as you are walking through, admittedly, this is kind of the first time you've been here. Or at the very least, the first time you've been here that you can remember, because typically your
Mm-hmm.
Aunt Miriam is taking the trip out to visit y'all over in theater,
Yeah.
rather than you guys taking the visit over here. Um,
I had the thought that like he's been to Inkwell, but it was a long time ago, and mostly what he knows of this place is mostly from like pictures, like a
mhm,
few
mhm,
photographs.
mhm. And it does look a fair bit like the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but as you're kind of walking through, you do kind of catch the faint smell of wet paint.
Mm-hmm.
That implies that, you know, some stuff might be in the process of being touched up.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I'm sorry, with a 12, which is below your passive, I can't give you much else.
That's okay. That's okay. He's just taking in the
Um,
vibes.
maybe there's, you know, you spot a couple of different, like, stashes of tools left around the room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Well, it looks like somebody's been working on something.
Something and everything. Oh, that's right. I haven't introduced you to my little good luck charm yet.
Mm-hmm.
Come on up here. And she leads him kind of down the hall and then up onto the stage.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and rather than like calling somebody from backstage, she looks up towards the rafters of the building where, you know, following her gaze, Twire can notice that there is a sort of set of catwalks
Mm-hmm.
that look a fair bit more modern and recently built than uh the rest of the theater.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and rather than calling for anybody, she puts a hand to her mouth and gives a bit of a taxi cab whistle.
Uh-huh.
and there's kind of a rattling sound from up there, and just a sec, I'll be right down. Um,
Dwyer's just kind of like given his aunt like a look and glanced back up into the darkness and looked at her again like, uh-huh.
and there's kind of a zap sound,
Mm.
uh, and then the lights over the stage get a little bit brighter, and there's kind of a mumbled, yes, I knew that would fix it. Uh, and then I need to roll a dex check.
Mm.
Or actually, I guess this would be acrobatics, so...
Oh, you're right, you're right. Oh, oh, it didn't
no.
roll.
Hang on, let me find my actual dice.
I think you forgot the R.
I might have, but I have Yetta dice, and I want to use Yetta's dice.
Absolutely. Dice are fun.
Okay, that is a 16 plus 5.
Ooh, 21.
That didn't work. Okay.
You need to do a space between the R and the 16 to add. There you go.
Thank you, finally.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's that mutter of like, yes, I knew that would get it to work. And then, all right, heading down. And Miriam kind of gently grabs Twire by the arm and pulls him a couple steps back.
Uh-huh.
As a couple seconds later, there's somebody dropping straight from the walks and onto the stage in front of you guys.
Oh, good gosh.
Does a decent job of it too. Doesn't
Uh-huh.
doesn't give any indication of having snapped anything.
Uh-huh.
And Miriam kind of crosses her arms and shakes her head and says, I swear you're going to break something one of these days. To which the young man who has just landed on the stage in front of you and is kind of lightly brushing off the, how do I phrase it? Brushing off the sleeves of his, black coat,
Mm-hmm.
just kind of grins and says, no, see, this is so I don't break anything the next time Rudy forgets to tighten the screws on the catwalks.
Oh, that's not good. Hello.
Ah, right, you did say someone was coming to visit today. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Yura Audience.
Oh, your audience. What an auspicious name. I I was hoping to find an audience in Inkwell, but I hadn't imagined it would happen quite like this. I'm sorry, I'm Twire.
Pleased to meet you.
Pleased to meet you too.
Miriam kinda does a little bit of a glance between the two, and there's, a little bit of a smile on her face, and she kinda claps her hand and is just like, oh shoot, I forgot that I needed to go pick something up from our prop supplier. Yura, can you show Twire around while I go do that? And he kind of looks at her a little bit surprised because, this is her nephew.
Right.
It's a little surprising that she'd leave him in essentially the care of a stranger, but
Yeah.
he does, eventually kind of just smile back and wave a hand and just be like, yeah, sure, tell Harry I say hi. Will do, dear, thank you. You two play nice. And then off she goes.
Oh boy.
Sorry, she's, been like that lately.
Oh yes?
Yeah, she's been very excited for your visit.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Sorry if I startled you with the, entrance. It's just so much faster than taking the stairs.
Oh, that's alright, just a tad. Although, he sort of like stops for a second and tilts his head. Uh, are those sort of like waves his hands vaguely in the air. Uh, um, roller skates.
Huh? Oh, yeah.
You.
Hannah just like does that thing that people sometimes do where like they'll look down at their feet and kind of tilt their shoes to remember what it is they're wearing. And
Yes.
yes, those are in fact roller skates.
Uh huh. He just kind of like looks between Yura and the skates and the catwalk. Like, how did you? That's You must
I-
have really good brakes on those things.
oh yeah, no, I make sure to keep the stops in tip-top condition. And he kind of taps, the toe of his shoes against the ground, which
Uh-huh.
with roller skates, when you want to stop on them, you have the little stopper that you tilt onto the front of your shoes to use as kind of built-in brakes.
That's right. It's like a big rubber. It's almost like a chunk of eraser just at the front of your thing.
Yep, pretty much.
It's just a chunk of rubber.
I wind up having to replace them a fair bit more often than I would personally prefer, but
Hmm.
it's worth it.
Well, when you're pulling stunts like that, I think it's to be expected.
He kind of laughs and says, "Well, can't deny myself my hobbies."
No, of course not. What do you do around here? Are you, stage crew? Uh, what's the word? Set design?
A little bit of everything, really.
Oh.
About the only thing I don't do is direct or write.
Oh.
I Yeah, I was just up there fixing the lighting. As you can tell, we've been having a little bit of trouble with that.
Mm.
And he kind of squints at sort of the gloom that covers most of the theater.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I've been trying to get those a little bit more up to date and, for lack of a more polite way to say it, up to code. This building was, it's a few decades old at this point, so it's not exactly in line with the local building codes, but,
Mm.
if you don't tell the safety inspector, we won't.
Yes, understood, yes. He's like, sort of nodding like, yeah, that's probably more common a sentiment than we'd like, but it happens. There are a lot of old stages in theater.
hmm Um, but yeah, I do help with building the sets sometimes. I love helping out with the costumes. That's always
Mm.
fun. Um, I tend to swap in for some of the actors if they get sick. Sort of a all-around understudy, I guess.
Wow, that's
And
incredible.
I work on our recordings.
Oh, you do
Oh,
recordings.
yes. I He kind of does his best not to look too proud of himself, but
Mm-hmm.
fiddles with the little gold uh not quite locket, not quite amulet. You're
Mm.
not quite sure what you're looking at because, you don't know it's a pocket mirror, but
Uh-huh.
he fiddles with the little gold circle on his necklace
Mm.
and says, "Yeah, I've taken to recording some of our performances to put on film, and we share those with the local movie theaters, and it gets us a little bit of extra revenue in the off season and a little bit of extra business once we open for the next production."
Oh, wow. He sort of like looks like he's thinking it over. Like there is a um uh there are sort of, what's the word? Um, there are like, I guess, rules in, you know, theater performance about, like, very strict rules about recording, certainly. Um,
Hmm.
uh, and like, for good reason and some very practical reasons.
Hmm.
But he, seems to think about it and like, nod. That's very interesting. Has that been working out for you?
Yeah, it's a surprisingly popular concept. I didn't expect it to go that far, but after I did a recording of one of our one of our usual actors happened to for lack of a better term get possessed by the muses and turn out her own script.
Oh.
Uh and she didn't think that it was likely to, be run more than once. So I offered to
Mm.
do a recording of it for her so that she could have it, have the memory for posterity,
Oh,
have something to look back on. Um,
I see.
but when I was talking to Miss Miriam and, getting everything set up, she asked to have a copy of the recording as well once we finished up, so she could take a look at it. And she really liked it, and she showed it to some of her other friends. And yeah, I've been all over the city doing recordings before. Um,
Wow.
she put in a word with some of her friends that run the other theaters. Been all the way up to the Silk Center, I think, which is all the way over there on the other end of town.
Oh, my goodness.
Got lost like 3 times on my way there.
Oh boy. Well, suppose I can't say I'm too surprised that Aunt Miriam uh, was into it. She's always been a little bit more um, sort of hmm up to date than my mother, let's say. But
Hmm.
that's very interesting. That's very interesting.
Yeah, it's been a good way to pass some time, and I do enjoy the editing process, but I'm taking a bit of a break from it right now. For one, the obviously he gestures at the theater around them.
Mm.
Haven't got anything running right now. And for
Mm-hmm.
another, eh, it can be a little exhausting running around the entire city every week and having my entire weekend taken up, especially given,
Mm.
I have a day job.
Oh goodness. What's your day job? And also, do you film and edit?
Of course.
Wow.
And he shrugs and says, "As for my day job, I'm a secretary. I work for the. Um, I doubt you'll have had reason to visit her,
Mm.
but I work for Detective Moria.
Hmm. Yeah, he sort of
Uh,
tilts his head. Um, doesn't ring a bell, but then I haven't been really in. Uh, I haven't been here for very long.
New in town?
You could say that. I'm actually from um, one of the real kind continents, Theater.
Oh, that one's like all the way on the other side of the map, isn't it?
Yep, it's pretty far.
Goodness. Well, I hope the trip's been treating you well.
Yes, yes, I think
It's
so.
a it's a fairly long way from home.
Yes, it is that. It is that. But no, well, I visited Inkwell when I was a lot younger, but I can't say that I remember very much of it.
That makes sense. I I doubt I would remember some of the places I was when I was, he gestures like
Like waist height or
at knee,
something.
yeah, like knee height of
Yeah.
just like when I was tiny.
Yeah, exactly.
But the good thing about that is you get to experience this place all over again, right?
Absolutely. And it is quite the experience.
I haven't really ever been outside it, or at the very least, I haven't been outside it here, but
Hmm.
I do say that that I quite like it.
Mm-hmm. Did you, you came from somewhere else then?
Oh, yeah. Let's put it this way. You're not alone in being far from home.
Ah. Hmm.
And he
Well,
kind of winks and says, details of that I'll keep to myself for now.
oh, fair enough. Well, you seem to be doing pretty well for yourself here, I think. Um,
Yeah, fortune favors those who keep themselves busy. I
true.
don't think that's actually how the saying goes, but
No,
it's
it's
more
not.
accurate.
Maybe. Ah. Hmm. Um, was there. There's a room I'm supposed to stay in, I think.
Oh, right. That's probably what she meant by show you around. I was trying to figure that out. Here, come on. And he will kind of head towards the back of the stage and pull aside the curtain.
Mm. Yep, yep. He'll go follow, come through.
Probably has to duck a bit because,
Oh, yeah, there's no way he's holding back. Uh, this guy is way taller than Yura.
yeah. Yetta kind of picks up a flashlight, leads the way through the backstage, which, well, it's a backstage. It's dark and a little bit cluttered, but
Mm-hmm.
in a very familiar way to you specifically.
Yeah, of course.
Um, and then take a left down at the back of backstage, uh, which takes to a doorway, which leads into a hallway.
Mm.
Very maze-like, this building. Um, and Yetta explains as you guys are walking of just, Miss Miriam lives in, well, she kind of lives in the owner's office,
Mm-hmm.
which I I've been trying to convince her that maybe, just maybe, using some of the extra space in the attic to set up an apartment for herself would be a good idea.
Mm.
She says she doesn't like being away from her work for that long.
Well, maybe I can try to nudge her a little bit.
Well, that might be for the best for everyone. But in the meantime, we've got one of the dressing rooms set up for you.
Mm. Okay.
Um, Sort of modified from, classic dressing room behavior into more of a combination bedroom, office, that sort of thing.
Good.
Um, I'll do my best to make sure that I bring over some kind of takeout or whatever every day, given that
Oh,
you guys don't exactly have a kitchen in here. I don't know what she's planning in that regard. I don't know what she does in regards to meals every day, but
I don't know. Well, you don't have to do that. I can go out myself. I'm sure I can find things if I look around.
Yana does kind of giggle at the uncertain tone in his voice. Well, at the very least, then I can give you a map of some of the best places I know.
Sounds good.
There's a coffee shop nearby that does just absolutely excellent pastries in the morning.
Ooh.
My sister, Minami, she showed me how to get there, and it is just, yep, one of the best places ever. I have never gone anywhere else for breakfast.
That is a ringing endorsement.
Well, given that, the last place that I used to go to for breakfast before she showed it to me, got squished by a piano.
Oh. Just kind of like brows furrow, like, huh? But then, like, oh, yeah.
It was a very large piano.
Yeah. That's.
Took the entire front facade off the building, which, honestly, impressive. I don't know where they dropped it from.
Goodness.
Hopefully they weren't trying to do a rooftop piano concert. That would have been sad.
Yeah. I I have to imagine they account for that sort of thing here. I swear I saw a pamphlet somewhere that was piano specific insurance, which makes a bit more
Oh, yeah.
sense now.
Oh, yeah. They're a common form of collateral and a common form of, injury causant.
Hmm. Well, let's hope we don't have any piano related injuries here.
There's a reason
He
that the
does
one
knock
we
on
do
wood.
Oh, there's a reason that the one we do have lives in the orchestra pit and does not move.
Very good. As it should be.
That is its home. We risked a lot getting it down there. It is not moving.
Nope.
That is its home. It lives there now.
There's a reason you don't like just try to move pianos. Like it's a very difficult thing to do. Not anyone can do it, and it's really easy to mess up.
Exactly.
Although usually it's, messing. If where I'm from, it's usually you've messed up the piano, not the entire building.
The piano messes up you.
Indeed. Quite.
Here we go. Uh, you guys have kind of landed with the end of the hall. There's a bunch of dressing rooms kind of lined up, and you've got one door with, the classic bronze star on the door.
Yeah. This is kind of nice and out of the way, so he's like not in the way of other actors if they, did, start, putting something on.
Mm-hmm.
If he was the first in the hall, that'd be a pain in the ass.
Yeah. And as he takes a handle on the door, that bronze star over the door lights up for a second, and writes across itself with his name.
What?
Oh yeah, it makes it easier to keep track of who's got which dressing room. So they adapt to whoever kinda takes them over.
They adapt.
Mm-hmm. Mostly the name, but I think there's something about the lighting inside can change depending on if somebody's got a light sensitivity, which is great. I know that one of our actresses, Christine, she's got really, really bad light sensitivity. It gives her a real headache. So anything that requires her to be in the spotlights, I do try to keep them dimmer for her so that it doesn't give her too bad of a headache. But she does tend to go and take a lie down afterwards before we go to the big cast parties after hours.
That's good.
She's a sweetheart. You'll like her if you meet her.
This
wonderful voice.
He sort of taps on the star. Is this new?
What do you mean?
I mean, has it been like this? I don't think I've actually been here. I've seen pictures of the theater, but
Oh,
Is it always
yeah,
like this?
the stars have been like that for as long as I've been here, at least, but then I've only been working here about 2 years.
Okay.
1 year.
Hmm.
Words. Time is weird. Anyway.
Yeah, I'll head inside, take a look, and if it kind of like adjusts to his preferences, it probably is a little um uh it's not it's I will say it's not like the sort of glaring bright that a typical dressing room is. It's
Hmm.
probably on the dimmer or sort of like gentler colored light sort of end of things.
Hmm. Yeah. And it's like, it's not a huge space, but it is decent.
Yeah.
You've got like a bed shoved up against the back wall. You've got a dresser with kind of a clothes rack built into the top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then on the opposite wall from that, you've got um what looks like a vanity that's been kind of converted into a desk.
Mm-hmm.
It's got the, drawers to either side of it, the work table, a chair, and then the big mirror with the lights around it, which those lights have been significantly dimmed from their usual glaring brightness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there's a little switch to turn them on and off, and probably a little desk lamp next to it,
Mm-hmm.
which can work kind of as a bedside table lamp as well.
Well, this is very nice. I think this will work very well.
Yeah, it looks cozy.
It does. It does. It's very good. And yeah, no, this is pretty much perfect. I mean, it is on the small side, but I mean, like, I've I've seen dorms that are smaller.
Uh, and I've seen dorms that are poorer kept, so
Oy,
wins on both fronts.
exactly. No, this is very good.
Yet is kind of leaning in the doorway and he tilts his head and says, "You're in school?"
Oh yes, I the reason I'm in the country, um, I'm specifically here at the theater for for fall break, but I'm in Inkwell uh, for school, um, specifically. Well, might have guessed theater and particularly writing and um,
Mm.
uh, word. What's the? It's not script right, and it's not screenplay. It's
Stage writing?
playwright.
Playwriting.
Playwright. I'm a playwright.
Oh, that's cool. What kind of stuff do you write?
Um, honestly, uh, admittedly, I kind of lean towards darker stories that are uh, a little more uh, kind of push the boundaries of what's maybe um, comfortable for people to see on stage, but uh, I dabble in different styles.
Mm.
But particularly, there's a personal project that's uh, honestly been kind of an obsession since I was a child. And I'm trying to kind of pull it together and I'd like to I'd like to actually have a full script for it and possibly ideally see it performed, but it's a little it's I'm not sure if I can do it at home.
That much of a boundary pusher, eh?
Something like that. It's that's one part of it, but the thing about theater is that a lot of stories reflect reality. Um, Sometimes, if you, oftentimes you'll have a sort of event that happens, um, and, the art imitates life, and, but then sometimes later, life imitates art. If you create something and you put it out there into the world, um, onto the stage, it can.
You risk speaking it into existence.
Yes, it can become real.
I
And
get that.
yeah, and the story I want to tell, it's not just dark, it's dangerous. I don't know if I don't know if I could play it at home, but I'm hoping that I can at least develop it and maybe try it out here because the rules are different. Um, I understand that sort of speaking things into existence is um, something of a uh, concept here too, but in a sort of different way. I've been told, at least.
Here we've got more of a concept of jinxes, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this isn't.
Like the big one is never say that it can't get worse because you are inviting it to get so much worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh, See also what's the worst that could happen,
Ah. Mm.
or repeating any action 3 times because once you do it 3 times, it's a running gag.
Right. The rule of threes, of course. Yeah.
Universal constant in storytelling, I guess.
Well, so if it ever did uh, go to stage, I would probably have to make sure that it was put on for a number of times that wasn't a multiple of three. But other than that, uh, it's not. Um, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be dangerous here.
Right.
Dark maybe. Make a bit of a splash perhaps, but it shouldn't.
But at the very least, it'll be out of your head.
Yeah, yeah. That's part of it. But I also want to do that without getting anybody hurt.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What's it about, if you don't mind my asking?
No, not at all. Well, it is kind of it's about a plague, and it's about three healers who have been brought to a particular town where the plague is just starting to break out, and they've been tasked with fixing it, with healing the people, with ending the plague, with saving the town.
Mm.
But they all have very different methods, and they all have pros and cons, and they all have very different points of view. Um, One is very traditional, knows the land, knows the people, understands their traditions and which traditions must be kept and which ones, perhaps could be set aside. Another one
Knows the
is.
lines, which ones to break, which ones to cross, and which ones to hold.
Exactly. Um, Another one is a foreigner, um, and kind of uh, arrogant one at that. A a learned man, a doctor with a capital D. Um,
Know-it-all outsider from the big city, then.
that's right. And he doesn't understand the sort of mystical or spiritual edge of things, which is important, but he, is just focused on the science because that's what he knows. And then there's a third. She's a curious case. She doesn't have much of a past, but she lives in town. But there seems to be some creature who likes to disguise itself as her and commit crimes, essentially. So
Hmm.
people are afraid of her, but she has a sort of mystical ability to heal people just with her hands and nothing else. But
Hmm.
she also has the power to effectively kill on touch.
Yikes. A character of dualities, then.
Indeed.
Poor dear. That would be
Right.
a rough lot in life to have.
Yeah, yeah. It's not a enviable position to be sure. And then of
Doesn't
course,
sound like it is for any of them.
no, no. Um, and there's the townsfolk. There are the people. The adults, the children, um, the the people in charge, the local aristocrats, and such. And they
Have their own convoluted web that they weave.
absolutely, the powers that be are really no help at all, and often a significant detriment.
Gerda does laugh at that. Just, uh, well, as you said, art imitates life.
Yeah. Um, which does remind me, this didn't just bloom fully formed from my head exactly. It um, was predicated from actually a plague that happened when I was very young um,
Oh,
in our own town. Um, we managed to uh, take care of it, but by the time they came up with a um, let me think. Is vaccine the right word? I think it is.
I think it's a vaccine.
Yeah, because I think that doesn't necessarily production of antibodies. Blah blah blah. Yeah, whatever. They
It doesn't completely kill it, but it does stop you from getting it again.
yeah, something like that. Uh, we found a method to help people immunize against it, but by the time they sort of figured out the cure, uh, well, I was kind of already sick, so um,
Ooh.
not really of much use. So it was a pretty bad um, illness. Uh, it was deadly. Not everybody made it through, but I managed to, and we um, eradicated it ultimately. Um, But
Well, that
this,
one's good at least.
oh, absolutely, absolutely, certainly, um, kudos to our healers and you know scientists. Um, but after that, well, no, not after. It was really during. I had these sort of weird fever dreams that were kind of the parts of this story, and it never really left my head. It just kind of it's just kind of been there, and I've just had this feeling that it's a story that I need to tell.
It died with you, so you're stuck with its memory.
Yeah, that seems to be about it.
Well, I can't say I'm much of a playwright myself, but if you ever need someone to rubber duck off of, I've been told I'm a decent listener.
I would appreciate that maybe more than you know. He's like nodding, nodding.
Yada smiles and just, kinda, shrugs his shoulder like it's no big thing.
Uh huh.
And just says, I've got a pretty strong stomach. I'm pretty hard to scare, so you don't need to worry about holding back details for my sake.
All right. Um. Well, and if you have lived around here at least a couple of years, you could help me sort of uh, once it's sort of filled out properly, make sure it's, tailored to the audience, since I will be sort of, well, since I kind of have to do it here and not there.
Yeah, probably would be best to try and make sure you don't get run out of town with pitchforks and torches.
Yeah, we want to avoid that.
Not that that's happened as far as I know. Well, I mean, it happened once, but I think that was like a festival thing.
Hmm. He sort of shrugs, like, I'd buy it.
I think it's like a tradition thing, like,
One of those fall festival type deals.
probably. Yeah, whoever dresses in the scariest monster costume gets run out of town.
Ah.
And then they come back and everybody has a big party about it.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, I didn't wind up going, but let's just say the pseudo mob ran outside my window and gave me a bit of a spook.
Yeah, yeah. Oh boy.
You're lucky you came in here at this time of year instead of a couple weeks ago.
Mm.
Halloween goes pretty hard around here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I I have heard that it can get weird. Other than that, I don't know a whole lot.
Well, the good thing about not having a kitchen down here is that you can't get bricked into your room by soup.
I, hmm. Bricked into your room. That I get. Soup?
Yana just cracks up laughing and just, like raises a hand in like that way of like raise your hand if you have ever been victimized by soup. My first week in Einquell, I was staying in my apartment and I was stressed out about something or the other, so I decided to make some potato soup because that's, big comfort dish for me. Uh, and then I blinked, and it was 7 hours later,
Uh-oh.
and I had managed to fill about 80% of my apartment
No.
with just stacks upon stacks of pots full of soup.
Ha! How did you get that many pots?
I don't know. I don't know where they came from. I don't know where they went.
Never mind the materials for the soup. That's.
Exactly. I had one bag of potatoes, and somehow I made that much soup? Where did it all come from?
Oh gosh.
The mysteries never cease.
Oh goodness.
Ah, luckily, I have a good few friends who were willing to take it off my hands and could get it to some local food drives and soup kitchens that could make use of it, which was lovely.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that I'm glad that a gag can be used for good.
Yes, but suffice to say, I did have soup for weeks afterwards.
Oh goodness. Did you get tired of it?
Eh, I wasn't really in a place where I could get tired of anything, but
Hmm. Yeah, sometimes food is food, huh?
precisely. And he kind of snorts and he mutters a line which would catch Twyer's ear of
Mm-hmm.
just, need I remind a man like you that hunger is sated with food?
Yeah, he kind of stills and like kind of looks at your browse for
Hmm?
say that again?
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to insult your intelligence or anything. It's a
No,
silly.
the would you mind repeating it?
Oh, um, need I remind a man like you that hunger is sated with food?
Huh. He just he just kind of looks like perplexed and kind of like looks away for a second, kind of confused, and like starts to like um, reach into his pocket and pull out like a sheaf of papers and start going through them, and like it's an absolute like mess of a whole stack of papers, and then he starts going through it, and then kind of stops, realizing like that's not one I have written down.
Is something wrong?
It's just that sounded an awful lot like one of the lines I had in my head. I hadn't quite got around to putting it to paper yet.
Oh, um, I'd apologize for the plagiarism, but
No, 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 no.
wasn't where I was doing it.
No, no, that's quite alright. Great minds think alike and all that.
Or at least have similar senses of humor.
Right. Huh.
I thought I heard that one somewhere. It felt like a reference at least, but
Oh. Hmm. Oh.
it's hard to remember what I do and don't remember.
Right, right. Hmm. Now I'm wondering if I heard it somewhere, but I find it hard to believe that we would have a terribly much overlap in the kind of media we grew up with.
Oh, very unlikely.
Yeah. Huh.
Where I'm from is not like this place.
Huh. Uh-huh. Huh. Well, at the very least, if you don't mind still, at some point helping, me go over things. Um,
Of course, sounds like fun.
okay. He's kind of thinking like, well, we might well be on the same page in that case.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not completely sure what to make of that, but he's also not, how to put it. He needs the help, so he's not going to look a gift horse in the mouth.
I mean, he is the one who said that Yoda's name was auspicious.
He did. He did. So he's, again, he's not, if this is a gift from, the gods of theater, he's not going to question it, push it away.
If this is the hands of the directors moving things across the stage, he's hardly going to go off script.
Indeed. Indeed. Oh. Hmm. What do you enjoy working on here in the theater? Like any specific project you particularly like?
I kind of get bounced around all over the place. I mostly do whatever anybody needs doing.
Mm.
Like I said, I do enjoy working on costumes.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of fun with the ones for our last production. I got to go ask a friend of mine and borrow some pieces from his truly extensive closet.
Oh my.
It helps to have friends who don't get rid of seemingly anything.
That's true.
Everybody makes fun of the hoarders right up until you need that one specific thing, and, well, guess who happens to have it?
Right, right.
But I make some of my own stuff as well. And he kind of gestures at his own outfit.
Mm-hmm. You made that.
Well, most of it. The fabric is, well, some of it's from old school uniform, but I've repurposed a lot of the pieces over the years.
It looks good. It looks very good.
Thank you. I put a lot of effort into it. And he kind of does like a little bit of a show off twirl. He kind of pinches at the brightly colored trim parts of it that are, at the hems and at the hood of it, and just says, this bit's more of just a natural consequence of being something I'm wearing, but it's a fun challenge to figure out the color workarounds on.
I see. It's, is it one of those things, do correct me if I'm wrong, is it one of those tune things where, like, if you put, if you, like, if somebody puts it, if a tune puts on, like, say, a jacket of a different style, it might, like, re-stylize to their style? Like, it doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes. Okay, okay.
Something like that, yeah. For me, it's just anything that I wear, it's gonna pick up these colors eventually.
Well, they're very pretty.
Thank you. They're some of my favorites. But yeah, I like doing that, and I like building things. I've got a big project out in the woods somewhere that I've been working on for the last year or so.
Oh, wow. What are you building?
Well, it started with just the gazebo, and then we finished that, so...
Wow.
I started with carving out some of the dirt from the hill behind it, or underneath it, because I realized that there was enough of a root system from the big tree that I built the gazebo around that that the ground was basically reliably structured enough that I could partially hollow it out to make kind of an outdoor auditorium style stage.
Really? Oh, wow.
Here, and he tugs on the little gold disc on his necklace, and it pops off into his hand. He flicks it open, uh, and pulls out one of the little glowing flower-shaped screens, uh, which he expands out to a decent enough size to view on, and it shows kind of the schematics for what he's building.
Mm-hmm. Oh, oh, wow.
It's been a good way to keep my hands busy and, uh, you know, occupy time and whatnot and what have you, and
Mm-hmm. Oh, that looks
it's funny.
gorgeous.
Thank you. I'm actually quite happy with the design.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it, admittedly, is improvised. I come up with a lot of the individual patterns along the way,
Hmm.
but, flowers are always a good shape to go back to, so are stars, so's the ocean.
Yeah. Huh. Wow, that's awesome.
Thank you. Admittedly, some of the stuff that I've done around here has wound up accidentally being prototypes.
Ah.
I've put in a lot of glyph work and whatnot into the underside of the stage that I'm building
Mm.
to allow for. He kind of wrinkles his nose and tries to figure out how to phrase it. Not illusory sets, but
Hmm.
simplified sets with illusions over top of them that are able to more completely transform the location.
Yes. Yes, yes. That's. Did somebody teach you how to do that?
He kind of wiggles a hand and just says, technically, these techniques aren't known around here.
Mm.
I've been changing that slowly,
Mhm.
uh, but a lot of it is my own adaptations. Admittedly, it'd probably be pretty hard for anyone to replicate.
Interesting.
Hence, mostly using it in my own build. But I do have some of the stuff around here that I've taught the others to use. Um, we've got a much better spotlight tracking system than we used to have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I managed to hook the lights up to these little things. And he will reach into hammer space, roll d10. That works. Um, he reaches into hammer space and pulls out um, a little like piece of metal
Mm-hmm.
that has been engraved with a couple of different symbols. One kind of looks like an eye with a spiral in the middle of it.
Hmm.
And then the other one on there is like, it almost looks like a targeting system.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this tends to, these work by tracking sort of, they use the kind of ambient magic and ambient energy generated by a stage performance
Mm.
to sort of signal back and forth with the spotlights. And so if the spotlight needs to be on somebody who's going to be moving around a lot, they'll put one of these somewhere in their costume, just like, hide it where you'd hide a mic or something,
Oh.
and and the light will be able to track them more efficiently without whoever's, handling the lighting rig having to give themselves a massive arm workout.
Right. That's incredible. I've, I think, hmm. I can't speak to the mechanics. I can't say these glyphs are, um, anything familiar to me, but, at least in concept, uh, that there are, I mean, back in, theater, there are, master illusionists uh, work on sets and stages and lighting and can you know, either a master or more likely more often a team of people can achieve things like that, but
Mm-hmm.
you he just like is kind of like uh gesturing with his hands like you just kind of did it.
Get a like he does like blush and kind of look away just it helps to you know, again, I've got techniques that aren't exactly common around these parts, or at the very
Mm,
least I've never seen anyone else. Like I said, I come from somewhere very far away, and
sure,
I
sure.
was somewhere else in the interim,
uh
so
yeah,
I've
no, like I said,
picked things
it's
up from far away.
uh-huh, uh-huh. Yeah, no, I can't
Um,
say I know that the methods are the same, but sort of the end result, like you said, those quick changing backgrounds.
mhm. Yeah, I actually came up with some of the glyphs for those with do you ever listen to a song and then just get kind of possessed by a set of visuals?
Uh, uh, sometimes yes.
Well, there's a song that I have on sort of a personal playlist
Mm.
that I wound up accidentally listening to on loop because I forgot that I set it to a loop track. Uh, and I put it on while I was working on the stage, and I came up with just a very strong set of visuals, and I came up with a way to do it.
Mm.
But in order to do it the way I wanted to, I'd need a way for the illusions to quick change over while keeping the sets beneath solid.
Yeah.
Because the idea was like it's, a story in one song in one room,
Mm.
in, well, one location, one building,
Got it.
with this like music hall dance club that uh later in the story becomes, this very fancy discotheque type place.
You need the solid set to stay the same, but the dressings to change.
Exactly.
Mm.
Like I needed there to be a stage on the stage
Uh huh.
because one of the characters is a showgirl. So we needed,
Mm.
the platform for the stage. You needed something that could be a bar, and then you needed the bar, you needed the stage, and you needed the dance floor.
Mm.
But they change what they look like depending on the point in the story.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so if you can build the stage solid and you can build the bar solid, then you can change what they look like by putting. He kind of frowns and flicks his hands, and there's kind of a shimmer of magic-y glitter.
Mm.
Uh, and as that glitter goes off, Yoda casts the spell Minor Illusion.
Mm-hmm.
Or is that the name of the spell? It's the one that makes images. It's his usual one. Yes,
Yeah.
Minor Illusion. Uh, and these bright, glowing, they start bright neon purple but fade to a soft seafoam green. Lines of light
Mm.
wrap around him and turn into, um, one of the costumes from
Mm.
that set piece.
Ah. I
Like this, but for the entire stage.
I will say, like, Twire is so taken with with Yura. Um like, outwardly, maybe awe, um uh he has his absolute attention. Um yeah. He's so impressed.
I don't think Yura notices that right away, because he's
Uh-huh.
just like squinting down at the illusion he's created and is just like, actually, I might have to tweak this design. It's a little too modern for the first part and a little too dated for the latter part.
Well,
Eh,
without knowing the the details, I think it looks incredible.
thank you. I do quite enjoy working with illusions. Magic is still a relatively new thing to me, but
Hmm.
he kind of flicks his wrist and the all of the sort of sparkles fade off, and kind of reel back into sort of a ball of those lines in his hand, which he closes his hand around and they disappear. Um,
Well, you may be new, but you're a natural.
Aw, you flatter me. I've been working on it a lot.
It
I use a
shows.
lot of that. Thank you. I use a lot of that glyph work to be able to take something small like minor illusion and use it to
Mm,
cover bigger amounts of space. There's
right.
one glyph that I use, the reflection sigil,
Mm.
which it's only for illusion magic and it's only for images, but it can amplify the strength of a spell
Oh.
uh, by essentially bouncing that spell around. So if you
Oh.
keep the lines connected and you keep the shapes connected, you can create a much bigger space than you would be able to just on your own. So you can take something that would take, 7 or 8 people, or a much larger spell, and do it with just one pair of hands.
Uh-huh. Like how it's easier to light up a whole room with one light if you have a whole bunch of mirrors.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Or how, you know that trick that they use sometimes when, like, you need to have a ballroom on a stage and you need it to look a lot more
Mm,
cluttered than you can really afford to have when
right.
you still need somebody in the middle of the stage who's supposed to be, prima donna?
Right.
You put mirrors on the back of the stage, and therefore
Ah.
anybody who's moving around, as long as the people in the background keep moving, it looks like a much more cluttered scene than it actually is.
Right. Absolutely. Yes. Oh. That's a genius.
Thank you. I find that a lot of people don't really try to combine practical effects and magical effects. You either do one or the other. But
Mm,
if you use the techniques that you would use for something practical and apply them to something magical, you can usually get a much bigger result than you'd expect.
yeah. Wow. That's wild. I. It feels like you understand a bunch of practices from theater without having been there because we have things like that. Maybe not exactly the same, but but like along the same lines. We do mix magic and practical effects. It's not my department exactly. I'm not a props person and I'm not a stage crew person, but but I've seen it and it's wow.
What's it like in theater? I've never been outside of Einquell myself.
Hmm. Well, it's huh. Well, at least the environment. Um, okay, what's the Toon one that's most like a real? Have you been to like Toontown or Giznap at least?
I've been to Toontown briefly, but admittedly the memory's really foggy.
Hmm.
Uh, had some external stuff going on then.
Oh.
Uh, but more of, I'm guessing you mean it's more of a realistic style than maybe what you might see around here?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's yeah, no, I would say Villestown, it's pretty kind of a far cry from what it looks like over here, but it's a lot closer to what it looks like in Toontown. Um,
Mm.
just sort of the visual texture wise. Yeah, it's hard to
Mm.
describe if you've never been out of Inkwell, but I mean, you've seen real kinds. You know what they look like. It's like that, but the whole environment.
Mm. Yetta nods. He's very carefully keeping quiet the fact of like, yes, I know what a real tree looks like.
Yeah, you know. um, but other than that, uh, it's a very interesting country. Um, country in the sense of land, not necessarily that it's a single, you know, uh, national
Hmm.
entity because it's not. But the it's very there's a lot of magic. Maybe not as much magic or the same type of magic as here, but
Hmm.
it's not as like soaked in it, but it's more like there's a light dusting over everything. Um,
Here, the magic is sort of baked into the land. There, it's more of a light that falls over everything else.
yes, that's a good way to put it. Um,
That makes sense.
and it's hmm, there's I'm not sure how to explain it exactly, but things like how in this theater, you have a show that'll run a bunch of times, and you'll have a different show that'll run a bunch of times, and then maybe you bring back one of the old shows, and the sort of cycling of performers and sets and actions and stories is kind of what it's like over there. Um,
Mm.
there are a lot of sort of I mean, if you read a history book, they say the history book is always repeating itself, but ours is really always repeating itself. Um, but it's things just sort of things that are there um, in the land just kind of become part of it, and it's like they belong to it and they stay. Once something becomes part of a story integrated into it, it's
It lingers.
yes, it's hard to remove it. Um, and eh, well, you do work in a theater. Um, uh, it's kind of the land is kind of haunted in a few senses, but also the literal sense.
That makes sense. I've never met a theater that didn't have at least one ghost.
Right. Yeah. We've even got uh, kind of specific practices when there's some spirits that won't move on, um, to sort of take care of that and make sure their story gets a decent ending and put them to rest properly.
Well, that's kind.
Close it out. Yeah, yeah. Well, it's kind of shrugs. It's it's only right. They're us just a few shows ago. Um, you know, it's all our people. It's just they do the same for us, and maybe they will. Next go around.
That's That's a really sweet way to think of it.
I like to think so. It's a very interesting place. It's hmm, probably one of those places that's hard to move there and kind of, integrate yourself into society. Some places it's easier to do that. This is not one of those places, I don't think. Um, and vice versa. Goodness, it has been very strange to leave it, um, frankly, for, an extended period of time.
Like entering a whole nother world.
Yeah, honestly. It's, at least, some of the other, I had to go through Faruma to get here, and it's got much less magic, but it's, at least here in Inkwell, they've got some of the, say, spontaneous gags that sort of imitate how, um, the weather in theater always seems to fit the mood, um,
Mm-hmm.
of a given scene, localized, but you really don't get hardly any of that, or none, honestly, unless you get really lucky in a place like Faruma. But then at least here, I don't know, you've got sort of a 50-50 chance. Like it's not the it's it's almost like it's not on the director's, it's not on the top of their to-do list, but they're maybe they'll throw you a bone every now and then. He just sort of like waves his hands, like, I don't know if any of that made sense, but
Yetta kind of smiles and says, well, it's definitely a different context that I'm used to working with, but I think I know what you mean. In the place that I was before this one, there were different rules,
mm,
and it definitely took some getting used to when I came over here.
mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Do you miss it?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Sorry, silly question.
No, it's fair. It's fair. Not everybody who leaves misses home. Um, no, I do. Uh, but I don't know if I can. Sort of leading up to coming to school, I've just been kind of restless with my story. Like I don't know if I can go back and kind of have peace of mind until I sort of get this thing, give it some sort of,
Resolution.
yeah.
I get that.
What about you? I can't really tell if you miss where you were or not.
Um, and Twire, roll insight if you
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
Because Yoda looks away
Mm.
and kind of tugs at the bandages that are wrapped around his fingers.
Mhm. Let's see. Insight. Okay, I'm glad I have a decent modifier. Uh, okay, let's see here. 15. Yeah.
That's not bad. Yeah. Um, it's complicated. You can see
Mm.
just from that expression. Oh, those are some complicated feelings.
Mhm.
Yoda kind of gives a little bit of a smile that has way too many emotions behind it and says, Well, the place I was directly before this, I would gladly never return to.
Oh, well.
But the place I was before that, I would love to if it was only possible.
Oh.
But sometimes the moral of the story is you can never go home again. And you have to learn how to pick up in the aftermath and put yourself back together and figure out what home really means to you so you can make a new one.
Hmm.
At
That's
least
a
that's what I tell myself.
that's a very difficult story to go through.
It's the one I've got.
Hmm.
And it could have ended a lot worse, so.
Hmm.
But from, I suppose, one world traveler to another,
Hmm.
if you ever just want to talk about home, I'm happy to listen. And if there's anything I can do to make you more comfortable, let me know, alright?
Sure. Thanks. I appreciate that. I'll probably end up telling you a few more sort of uh, details, especially if we, start to discuss, like, yeah, some of the cultural differences between there and here that might, alter the way that I need to sort of have things go on stage.
Mm. Sure, sure. Makes sense.
Something that would
I
fly.
imagine.
Oh,
Sorry, go ahead.
something that would fly over there, but maybe not here.
Honestly, I imagine that there's probably more you can get away with here that you wouldn't get away with there.
Yeah, that's part of the reason I'm here.
As far as I can tell, Inkwell's kind of, combative towards the idea of censorship, which,
Hmm.
personally, I can ultimately sympathize with.
Yeah, yeah.
From what I've seen, it's, a lot of people here value good record keeping and creative freedom, which
Hmm.
I think is nice.
Yeah, I think so.
It's especially true of UPA.
Hmm.
I've not really left Villestown much, but I've done a little bit
Hmm.
of research
Hmm.
because someday I do want to be able to travel and see more of
Hmm.
at least Einquell, if not the world as a whole.
Hmm.
Um, I've got I've got friends of mine who have shared stories of places they've been with me that I'd love to see,
Hmm.
but I've done research and apparently apparently UPA and Giznap have a long history, so you picked the right place in terms of where to go with something that might be a little bit more of a controversial story to tell.
Hmm. Hmm. He's kind of like nodding, like he sort of half understands. Like he might have some sort of vague idea of some of the broad strokes of the history of Inkwell, but not and
Hmm.
and current culture, but not like all of it.
Hmm. Yeah, what Yoda's basically referring to is Giznep, which is definitely not Disney in any way whatsoever,
Yeah.
has really serious standards and practices laws.
Uh huh. Uh huh. Yeah.
Really, really serious quality control.
Yeah. Some kind of constricting uh kind of stuff. Yeah.
And like obviously there are those who go against it, looks at everything that has come out of Dodo Studios ever,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they're notable outliers.
Right. Right. Like Toontown is kind of uh
An
they're
entity unto itself.
precisely. They are certainly not following the example set by uh the Giznaps, so to speak.
Correct. They might be within Giznep's, domain
Territory.
of power,
Yeah.
but they do their own thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, hmm. Hmm. I'm not sure what else.
Yeah.
Maybe they go out to like get something to eat.
Honestly, yeah, I think that's a good place to leave it off of just like, they chat for a little bit and
Yeah.
then probably you're just like, you know what? It is approaching noon. Have you
Mm-hmm.
eaten breakfast yet?
Yep. Not much.
All right, come on, I'm taking you to one of my favorite cafes.
All right.
And off they go.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah. And Miriam probably like, doing the sort of squinty eye smile from, behind the desk or something.
Knife cat smile.
Yeah.
Just knowing look in Twire's general direction.
Hmm. Ah.
She, she knows what she's done.
Uh-huh. Oh boy. That
Thank
was
you so much
fun.
for playing with me. This was so much fun.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Ah.
Before my connection goes out on me
Bye
because I
bye.
can see it flickering. Um, that will do it for the FPS. Thank you so much for playing with me. And thank you to our audience. We hope you enjoy this FPS and hope you have a good time zone. Goodbye.
Bye.